Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is going to be the next part of our food app series. In the previous video we implemented the addresses, and this video we are going to implement the Stripe payment method. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and let's just get to the code. So to integrate Stripe, the first thing that we need to do is that we need to get over here to get our basically the backend code, right? And inside that backend code, what you need to do is that you need to get over here into the Stripe config, and inside that Stripe config, this is the section that you need to populate. So basically, what you need is that you need a publishable key, you need a client secret, secret key, you need a webhook secret, right? So these are the three things that you need to do, right? And to get those, what we need to do is that we need to get over here into Stripe. You can sign up to the Stripe if you haven't signed up yet. And once you sign up, you'll basically land like over here, somewhere over here, right? So if you have something like this card that you can see, you already have these publishable keys, secret keys that are already set in there. If not, what you need to do is that you need to get over here in the bottom section and click on the developers, and inside that you will see API keys. So you can just click on that API keys, and from over here you can see that we have this publishable key and we have the secret key, right? So just click on the publishable key, go to the client side server side code and paste that key in there. Then we will go over here, we'll copy the secret key, and then we'll again go back to the backend code and we'll paste that here over here. And for webhook secrets, what you can do is that you need to do a couple more things if you are like for the first time setting it up. So the first thing that you need to do is that you need to set up your CLI. Since I'm running it on Mac, I'll be basically using this command that is over here. Like this is the smack. If you are running Linux, you can like follow these instruction, and if you have a Windows, you can follow these instruction. Okay. The next thing that we need to do is that we need to go to terminal, and from the terminal, what we will be doing is that we'll set up the webhook, right? So the first thing you can do is that maybe you can go for Stripe login. Okay, so once you click on that, it will ask you to log in that, and it will basically take you over here. If you are already logged in, it won't ask. It will just load a couple of things, some OTP that it will require. So okay, I got that OTP, which is 792986. Okay, so I'll just add that. It will just ask you to double check. You can also verify it with your in your console as well, that we have the same code, and you can just click on that. Once you basically accept that, you can go back to your CLI, and you will see that now basically it's been connected and it has already created a key that will basically take up to 90 days to expire. The next thing that you need to do is that you can just like write in the Stripe, listen to this, and whatever request that is, you can forward it to the webhook. So that is something that you can do. And from over here, you'll get this webhook key that you can copy and paste it inside the webhook secret section over here in the backend, right? So once all these three values are set, the next thing that you need to do is that you need to run the code. That the server should like reinitiate, and it should run without any error or any issue. So you can see that it's now running. Now you can just close that server side and take out the Android side, and we'll go over here to the build.gradle file. So the first thing that over here that I'll need is that I need to integrate, like add the Stripe SDK, and for that I'm gonna use the latest version that we have for Stripe, and that is this. Okay, this is like somewhat around 21 point something, and then once you click on that, you can just sync it. Okay, now you can see that it's done. For now, let's just keep it this way. The next step that we need to do is that we need to go to the card screen. Okay, and inside that card screen, what we will do is that we'll go to the checkout button that we had. I remember we had a checkout button that was basically clickable. You can see that we are basically making that checkout call over here, but we are not doing anything else over here. So basically over here, what we will be do is that we'll make a web call to our server, and we will basically tell our server that okay, we need to make a payment, so we need some sort of a ID that basically we can use with Stripe. So basically what happens is that the server assign us a payment intent ID. That payment intent ID is basically linked to that specific value that we basically want to make a payment for. and we will pass that payment ID to the Stripe, and over there user will basically, let's say user basically process the payment, and as soon as user process the payment, the Stripe will give us a payment method ID. The payment method ID means that now there has been some sort of payment that is being made, and that payment method we will pass that back to our server, and our server will then verify it with Stripe, and if the payment has been done, the order will be placed and we will get an order ID in return. So that is basically how the flow is going to work. And we will basically start with the step one. So the step one is we need to go to view models scope dot launch, right? The first thing we need is that we need to say UI item dot value as loading. The next thing is that we'll see, okay, say payment details is equals to safe API call food API dot get payment intent, and it requires one more thing, and that is going to be the address. We need to make sure that the address dot value dot ID. So basically this is important. It should be there. Without that, it should not be making any call to the server. So basically that's something that we need to do. And since we don't have any payment method in the in basically the class, so what we are gonna do is that we are going to create a member function over there. So we'll get over here, you can see it just created this, and for that I'm gonna say it's gonna be response, and that's going to be payment intent, right? This is basically going to be payment int payment intent response. This is basically going to be giving us a couple of stuff that we need, and this is gonna be I think that is a post method, so I'm gonna use post this as something like this. This is going to be request object, request as payment intent request, okay, and it doesn't have any like anything like that. We can also add a body tag to this so that we basically don't miss up anything. And let me just see if the ID is correct. So since it's a payment intent, actually the endpoint is basically this, okay. Now we don't have any payment intent request or payment intent response, so we need to create these. I'm just going to go over here into the model section, and let's just create a new Kotlin class, paste that, go to data class, and over here that will basically create something like this. Now inside that, the request object should be not more than that. It should just have one thing, and that is going to be wall address ID as string. That's it. This, and for payment intent response, what we need to do is that we'll have a couple of things that we can use. So I'm just gonna go copy that response from server, create a Kotlin class, paste that response. You can just paste that and name it as payment intent response, and then generate this. So once you generate that, you'll get this, which will have like a couple of things, and then we will just import that. Now, once that is done, you can see that it's complaining that we need a request. So we'll make that a request and then pass that over here. Okay. So now that basically payment details are there, now it will fetch the payment details. So basically when payment details are fetched, which means now we need to verify if it's like a success case. In case of success, we'll just what just happened? I think we need one more thing. Yeah. So basically, what does this mean is that once there is a success case, we'll say that, okay, the checkout process is done, and now we need to make sure, like we need to initiate some sort of a payment method, payment step from there. And else if there is some error case, we'll just be doing something like this. Okay. So now let's just say on initiate payment, and that should contain the data that we have, or let's call it, yeah, I think that's the one thing. And now over here, we'll go over here into the cart events, and now we'll be creating something like this. Data is going to be payment intent response. That is important. So yeah, that is pretty much something that we need from the cart section. And now over here in the carts flows, when we get over here into this collect later section, over here we need to verify, or like we need to make sure that the cart view model dot cart event dot on initiate payment is also there. And now from over here, there are two ways to do it. Either we can do it on a separate screen, or if you want, you can initiate the same step over here as well. So over here, what we need to do is that we need to initiate the Stripe payment. Okay, well, let's say initiate payment. Okay, that's basically something that we will be doing over here. So now over here, what we are gonna do is that we are gonna initiate the payments, right? So basically we want to set up some sort of a Stripe payment as well. And for that, what we are gonna do is that we're gonna say payment sheet is equals to remember payment sheet, right? And it's gonna ask for a callback. So now over here, basically what we can do is that we can add this, which means that now we have some sort of a payment mechanism. And now over here we can basically set up our, like, or let's say we can work on how to handle that payment, right? Okay, now over here, what we need to do is that we, let's say if the payment method is basically completed, right? In that case, we'll say this, we'll basically tell the view model that the payment is completed. Else, we're gonna say that the payment is now, we need to basically, there was like some sort of error, right? Let's say something like this. Okay. So now these two methods are not there. So let's just create those member functions. One is this, the other one is going to be on payment failed. In case of payment succeed, what we want to do is that, let's say we want to navigate to a success screen, and in case of failure, we want to navigate to a failure screen, right? So for that, we need two different screens. Let's just create a new package, and let's call it order success in this case. And one is going to be, we are gonna say order failure. Okay, now over here inside this, we can just create a simple composable. We don't need to create anything fancy. We'll be creating a simple thing, but let's say call it order success. That's one thing. And that is going to be, for now, let's just make it a composable and create a function order success screen. And over here, we'll just create a column. Okay, that is going to be something like modifier dot fill max size. Now over here, we'll make it something kind of a text saying order success. And along with that, let's just do one more thing. Let's call it an, or like pass the order ID as well. Make it a string, and we'll say order ID is this. Okay, you can add like a couple of more things as well, but let's say for now we'll just use something simple. Okay, we'll make sure to import this. That is going to be title medium. This is going to be start. That is going to be body medium. And we also want the color equals to gray. Okay, that's something. And you can also make sure that we basically centrally, horizontal, or vertically, like something like this, so that the screen is basically centrally aligned. And we are gonna do the same case for order failure, but this is going to be order failure. Okay, and order failures, basically order failed, and it will not have any order ID, because definitely it's going to be failed something. And this is going to be order failed. Okay, and you can set something, some string like could not we could not process your payments. Please try again. Or let's just do one more thing. We don't want to do this. Let's just close this. We'll just show a dialog. Okay, for success, we want to show something like this. Now, we also want to, let's create one button over here, and that button is going to be something text, and let's say continue shopping, and this is gonna say nav controller. We don't have that. Let's just use that nav controller like this. So it's a nav controller dot pop backstack, and that is going to be route for this. So we'll say the route is going to be home, and then we'll see that this is should be included. Sorry, the home should be included. In that case, we're going to say false. So that's something that we will do. We'll also make sure that the back handler, like when user click from the back button, we also want to make sure that we navigate back to home screen rather than the previous card screen, which is again, it's not required. So that's something that we will be doing. And now let me go to the main activity. Inside that main activity, let's create this composable. So we'll just create this composable like this. We'll call it order success. Okay, and this order success means that we are gonna call this order success screen from over here. And now we'll go over here to order success. We'll go to something like this, and now over here I'm gonna say serializable data class order success, which is an order ID, and it's gonna be nav routes. So we'll use this. You can just import that and see wall order ID is equals to this, and something pass like this. I think that should be enough, right? Now over here on payment success, sorry, on payment failure method, what we are gonna do is that let's use some sort of error messages like error title is equals to payment fail, a payment method, and we'll say view model scope dot launch, and in that we are going to say show error dialog in case of success. Sorry, not over here, that should be card screen. In case of success on payment succeed, we also need that. So now over here what we will do is that we'll make a view model scope dot launch, right? Now from over here, the next thing would be to make the web call to basically confirm if basically the order is actually placed. So for that, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna say uh, again wall loading. So for we need to make sure that we load that specific flow. So basically now over here, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna say underscore UI state dot value is equals to loading. Then we'll say wall response is equals to safe API call food API dot verify purchase, and based on that we are going to say that okay, when if it's a success, the verify section is done, we'll get some data, and then along with that we'll then over here we are going to say event dot value event dot emit card event dot uh, card event dot order success, and we'll pass something like this. So we need to first we need to implement this function. So from over here we also might need a payment intent ID over here. So we don't have that payment intent ID, which is, again, we need to make sure that we find this. So if there is a payment method that's been done, what I'm going to do is that wall payment intent, that's going to say payment intent response, and which means now let's make it a private. Okay, so once we have this, which means now the payment intent is basically called over here. What we are gonna do is that we're gonna also make sure that this payment intent is also like set up like this. Before actually initiating that, we need to make sure it's war. Sorry about that. Now over here in the confirm flows, now we know that, okay, so if we need to make sure that the payment intent ID, sorry, payment intent dot payment intent ID, or okay, and in return, I think I can use something like this. Now we need to implement this verify purchase, or let's just do something else. We'll fix this. Okay, let's just go over here, create a function, member function, verify purchase, and it's gonna return order. Let's call it place order response. Okay, that is going to be response, and we're gonna say something like this. Other than that, it's again gonna be a post request, and that is going to be slash confirm. And along with confirm, we also want to make sure that it's basically we pass a payment ID to this. And now, oh, I'll say body, and for request, I'm gonna say REQUEST. Request is going to be confirm payment request. Let's make it confirm payment request and confirm payment response to be in symmetry. Now we need these two variables. For that, let's just create simple model. So I'll go over here, create Kotlin class, make it a data class like this, which is gonna contain a payment intent ID. I think that's enough. That's all it should take. Let me just verify. We are also passing an address ID as well. So let's just use address ID over here as well. So these are the two things. And the next thing, the response for this is going to be something like this. So I'm gonna again create, sorry, this time I'm gonna go over here, create a new data and use something like this. This is going to be a string. This is also going to be a string, so that we make sure that the response that we get is this. And then from over here, I'm going to say payment, sorry, that is going to be confirm payment response. Okay. Okay, so there was an issue with the, now once I generate that, you can see that we have will basically be able to import these both classes, and we can just import them. We don't need to implement the functionality. So yeah, that's pretty much, I think that's pretty much what we need to do. Confirm slash payment intent ID. And we also need to define a path that is for payment intent ID. So we also make sure that we pass this as well. That's payment intent ID as string. So I think that's pretty much what we need to do. Now we'll get over here. Now you can see a lot of stuff has been gone, and now we'll make the request. So that is going to be confirm payment request, and from there we'll pass the payment intent ID to this. Just make sure that these both functionalities are suspend first thing, and the next thing would be to pass the payment intent dot payment ID as a value to this as well. Now we have this. Okay, And once the order has been received, now we know what we need to do with that. So we're gonna say success dot order ID. No, I think we don't need to add anything to this. In fact, we don't even need to use this. We just need to make sure that we say that the order has been successfully placed. We don't have that yet, so let's just create that. Once you create that, this means now you should be able to get that one thing. And over here, I'm gonna pass order ID. Now I think we are good. We'll just make sure for some reason we can also get a null. So we need to make sure that the order ID is not that way. And what else is left? I think almost everything is there. The card flows should handle that as well. We just need to make sure that we initiate that. So we'll say present with intent. And now over here, you can see that it will basically say that, okay, what you need to have some sort of payment configuration if you want to pass, but payment intent client secret is important. So for that case, I'm going to say it dot data dot payment intent clients payment intent client secret. That's important. So we'll pass that. We can also pass some sort of configuration as well if you want. But I think for now we are good. Let's just try if basically it works. And this is will basically over here. What happens is that it will initiate the payment to the server. And once that is done, we'll see how it goes. Now let's just try to run this. I think almost all the flows are there that we should be. I think it's because of Stripe SDK. We are using the latest version that could cause some issue. Let me see if we can get a slightly older SDK version for Stripe. Let's just use this one, 20.53. Let's hope. Okay, now we go to cart, we get over here. Let's just select an address, click on checkout. And when I click on checkout, it says something went wrong, which means there is something wrong with the intent section. And it says that we cannot find it. So basically, this means that the endpoint that I'm trying to access is under a different name, and that could be payment slash. So yeah, we need to. This was a mistake from my end. Let's just go over here to your food API service. Okay. Now over here, we need to make sure that we make something like this and rerun the code once again. See again, hopefully. Now let's just see if this time it works. So we go to the cart, we get over here, select address, click on a checkout. It goes loading and it says payment failed and error occurred while processing your payment, which means there's something happened. One thing is for sure that the payment intent went well. And then after that, there was something that happened. So like the service returned on payment failure, which means that the payment sheet somehow uh, couldn't work. So let's just go to the card screen back. So basically, what we need to do is that first we need to initialize the configurations. So we'll say payment configuration dot init, and for that we need two things. So I'm gonna use nav controller dot context for this, and we get a publishable key. This publishable key is important because this defines basically if you are on a test environment or on a production environment. So that's the product one thing. Then the next thing that we need to do is that we can create some sort of customer config. So I'm gonna say customer is equals to payment sheet dot customer configuration, and you can just import that as well. And the last thing is going to be wall config. This is again basically payment sheet config that you define. You can define the food hub name of the brand. You can define the customer and delete payment if you want to accept that or not. And for that, you can just define something like this and then use it as payment sheet config over here like this. I think that's something. Let's just run the code again. We'll go over here to this, select address, main activity. We can see that you can click on checkout. When you click on checkout, you'll see that now it will initiate a card payment, and it has like so much options. And for this, let's just use the success case. 42424242. Use whatever. Let's just use this. Okay, let's use 26. And for this, you can use that. And now when you click on that, it will initiate the processing, and it will now make that. For after that, should make a web call to the backend, which it didn't. I think it didn't do that call. The last confirmation call. No, it did. It and the server got a request and response, like it. We did got that success case, but we were not taken to the next screen, and I know why that happened, because the order placed is basically event is not being yet registered over here. So I'm going to say cart view model, cart event, and now we'll say order success, and we'll say something like this. Make it order success. This one. Okay, I think we can make something like this. Okay, now let's just try this time. Hopefully, when we can make order, it should like fix all these things. We also want to make sure that once the order is being placed, we refresh the cart section as well. So the cart is becomes something like this. But let's just try again. Get this, add to cart. Okay, go back, go to cart. Let's just add an address to this. And now when click on checkout, okay, something went wrong this time. What is this? Oh, why? Okay, this basically happens sometime that basically the code is being run. It basically runs the previous code. I think we fixed that payment section, which basically was the problem. But okay, no, there's something else. Yeah, it says 404, which is again really weird because we already fixed that. So let's just retry launching the event. Right, we go to the cart. Let's just select an address, check out, and as soon as we click on checkout, you can see that it took me there. Let's just use 424242421127. CVV can be anything, and now let's just process this. And once this is being processed, this time you can see that it took me to the next screen saying that the order is being success. And when you click on click shopping, it takes you over here. It somehow doesn't update this cart screen, which it should. And also, like when this loader should only be seen when there is actually loading. When there is like any error case in the other part of the basically flow, it should redirect, like again show me at least the cart status that is there. So let's just fix that. And for that, what we need to do is that we need to go to cart view model, and over here you can see that what we made this, like over here you can see that we are showing error case for this, but we need to make sure that the event, sorry, the UI state is like set back to the UI state dot success. This is important because these are like some other part of the app, and we don't want to show or loader or something like that. So that's why we are basically using this, and I think that should be enough in this case. Also, when there is or the order is successfully created, what we need to do is that we need to make sure to refresh the cart status as well, because now we need to we don't want to show this to the user, something like this, because this just doesn't make sense. So let's just wait for that. Just restart the code. The app is being restarted. Now let me add a product. Let's use another pizza this time. Okay, we can go to cart from here, select an address. This time we selected this. Now you can see that it took me back to the previous screen over here. And now let's use the success case that we success card that we have, 20 27. Right, process this, and as soon as we start processing, it will just go back again to loading. And now this time, previously I clicked on this and it took me to home. Now if I even back press this back, it will also take me to the home screen, and the cart is also like now become empty. So I think this is how we were supposed to handle the payment flows, and you can see the payment flow is like pretty smooth. We definitely have some area where we need to like fix the loading screen specifically for the card screen. So let's just try to fix that. We have this, which is this spacer. We have not just, we need to just set the vertical arrangement and the horizontal alignment for this. Once you can add that, one more thing, maybe we can add a text, something like this, and the color should be gray. So this time when the loader comes, it will be in the center of the screen and it will look much better than the previous. Okay, now we get over here. We get over here, we make orders, we go to cart, and now you can see we're over here. We go to main, and when I click checkout, oh, I don't know why we have this problem. We need to clean the project first and rebuild this. Sometime it happens. So if something like this happens, you just, what you need to do is that you can just clean the build and restart it so that the new code is loaded. Okay, so we have this card, we get over here, we select an address, we can just see now it's loading, and as soon as it fetches the data, the loader was in the center of the screen. And also when the payment is basically done, you can also see that the next time the loader will also be in the center of the screen. Yeah, right. And again, we can go back. So that was it for today. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please comment down below, and even if you didn't, please mention what we can do to improve this. Any feedback, any suggestion is highly welcome. After this, we have two major features left. One is order management, where basically we'll show the user the orders and different status, and the second one would be the notification. And after that, we are going to jump into the rider app. So stay tuned, and so please bear with me. I know I am quite slow with this content. The problem is that I have just 2 days to create, edit all these videos. So I'm sorry if you think that I am posting the video with like longer duration.
I hope you liked
But
the
I'll try
video,
my
and if you
best
did, please
to
like the
make it
video,
to
comment down
post
below,
all
and
as
share
quick
the
as
video with
possible.
your friends. For
And
similar content,
I'll
you
see
can
you in the next
subscribe to my
video. So till
channel. You
then,
can
happy
also follow me
coding.
on
Bye.
Instagram, and if you have any queries, you can join my Discord server where we discuss different kind of things. So thank you so much for watching the video. Have a great day. Bye.